Right, in this lecture, we're going to be talking about pre-reading the sources. This is a really essential step when you're doing the synthesis essay, and you need to do it quickly but effectively. Rush too quickly and you won't get enough information. Go too slowly and you won't have enough time to write the essay. So in this lecture, I'm going to be covering a few things. First of all, what is the essential question of the prompt? And what are you meant to address? Before you move on to anything, you need to know exactly what you're supposed to address. The second thing is actually reading the sources and skimming and searching for commonalities. The next thing is exactly how should you read them? Should you read in depth with a lot of detail and a lot of focus? Or should you just be reading for relevant details? Then I'll move on to talking about underlining and taking notes, which is an essential step here. You need to have information at your fingertips for when you actually start writing. And to do all of this, I'm going to be using the 2016 and 2014 exam. It's much better to have it, to look at it practically rather than theoretically. So over here, I've got the 2016 exam. I've put it in words so I can just kind of make notes as we go and things like that. But if you actually look online, you'll see it's the identical exam. I've just copied it over. So you can see here it starts off with a sort of a little intro and explains to you exactly what you're looking for. You can read this now, but honestly in the exam you should never ever read that. It's just a complete waste of time. Time which you need for reading and actually writing. So look over it now, make sure you understand it. You can see that there's suggested reading and writing time. I don't think you need to really pay a lot of attention to that for now. I'll talk to you more towards the end about what the sort of the ideal timing is for reading and writing. So let's read this prompt here. Over the past several decades, the English language has become increasingly globalized and is now seen by many as the dominant language in international finance, science, and politics. Concurrent with the worldwide spread of English is the decline of foreign language learning in English-speaking countries, where monolingualism, the use of single language, remains the norm. Carefully read the following 6 sources, including the introductory information of each source, then synthesize information from at least 3 of the sources and incorporate it into a coherent, well-developed essay that argues a clear position on whether monolingual speakers are at a disadvantage today. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the most important phrase here. You always want to be looking for this. This is the essential question. You have to argue a clear position on whether monolingual English speakers are at a disadvantage today. You don't have to answer this now. And actually, if you're very passionate one way or another in terms of whether you think it's really important to be multilingual or if monolingualism is fine, that's okay. But put that aside for now. You don't have to add your own opinion at this stage. What we're going to do later as we read, then we're going to form an opinion on this. So just for now, underline that, know that that is what your question should be. Okay, know that that is what you're going to be answering. This other stuff here, you can ignore. You don't need to read this. Read it now, but never read it on the actual exam, because it's not necessary to know. You should know this already before you even take the exam. This is what you ultimately want. This is the important stuff. This stuff over here is relatively important, but not very important. Honestly, you can get by just really skim reading it. But you have to have this. You must know this before you actually move forward onto reading the actual sources. Okay, in the next video, I'm going to go on and I'm going to read the first source, and we'll go through it a little bit slowly, but I'll show you what kind of information I'm looking for. Okay, great.